Hello and welcome to this video. Today we will be discussing correcting errors as a diversity visa applicant. There are two groups of errors that we will be considering in this discussion. Let's begin with the first group. The first group are errors that were committed on the diversity visa entry form, and after the entrant got selected, he or she decided to make corrections. That's the first group. And this first group can be subdivided into two kinds. The first kind is what I refer to as legitimate errors. That is, errors that do not necessarily violate the diversity visa instructions. Such errors usually occur when it is someone else who submitted your diversity visa entry on your behalf. Sometimes they make typographical errors, or there are cases when they even swap the date and month in your date of birth. So such legitimate errors can be corrected on the DS-260. So for those of you who have been asking whether you should go about correcting such errors on your DS-260, the answer is yes. You should correct such errors so that it is the corrected version that is on record as you go through your immigration process. Now, the second kind of errors in this first group are those that are committed intentionally. Such errors are generally in violation of the diversity visa instructions. Let's take, for example, someone who has children but who decide to enter the diversity visa lottery without including their children. If such an entrant is elected and they decide to add their children to their DS-260, they will be disqualified because they violated the diversity visa instructions at the very beginning. Now, there are entrants who are aware of this reality and they decide not to make the necessary correction on the DS-260 to avoid being disqualified. But remember that background checks are conducted after you submit your DS-260. So if it is discovered that you have children, but you did not include them on your diversity visa entry form, you will still be disqualified at the diversity visa interview. That is, if such information is discovered. Now, there are cases where the applicant goes through the entire process with the wrong information and the truth is not detected. Such an applicant runs two risks. Firstly, if after immigrating to the United States, at some point it is discovered that he or she went through the immigration process based on wrong information, the law provides that their immigrant status be revoked and the applicant be deported. That's the first risk. And secondly, in case that doesn't happen, the applicant is going to live on with such a situation, including possible consequences it may have on their family or their life. This is what concerns errors that are committed intentionally during your diversity visa process. Now let's move to the second group of errors. That is, errors that are committed on the DS-260 and they have to be corrected after submission. Recently, I made a video explaining the issue in depth, but I would like to reiterate one important point, and that point has to do with the timing of the correction you make in this second case. In case you have corrections to make to your DS-260 after the form has been submitted, make sure that you do so early on in the program or long before your case is expected to become current. When you do, there is no risk involved. But if it happens that you realize that corrections need to be made when the program year has gone far, or when your case is close to becoming current, do not request reopening of your DS-260 to make corrections. Instead, have your corrections in the form of a document that you take along with you to your diversity visa interview. That will prevent you from running the risk of your case not being scheduled for interview. That is the one important point I want to make when it comes to the second group of errors that diversity visa applicants may wish to correct. Now, two important points concerning corrections before we conclude. Point number one, when you make corrections during your diversity visa process, remember that the original information as well as the corrected version are both available to the consular officer. And because of that, point number two, make sure that you have a valid reason prepared to present for each correction you make in case you are requested to present explanation at the time of your interview. So that is it concerning corrections you may have as a diversity visa applicant. I hope this video helps you to understand how to go about with your corrections. Thanks for watching it. And as usual, let's continue the discussion in the comment area below the video. And I will see you, God willing, in the next one. Goodbye.